Okay. All right, so we are going to do exercise 6-7 on page 638. Help if I get my notes out. Okay. 6-7 on page 638. All right. So 6-7 on 638. It says, Jetter's company uses a periodic inventory system and reports the following for the month of June. And right here on the screen, if you can see that on the right-hand side, I have what it shows on the page there. Oh, actually, no, I don't. Now I have what it shows on the page there, okay? All right, so I have what they show on, or actually, let me put one more thing in there that they show on the page. We're gonna make it look just like the page so you know what you have to do. And they show inventory, they show 2/3. Okay, all right, so that's what everything they show on the page there, right? Okay, so A, compute the cost of ending inventory and cost of goods sold under FIFO, LIFO, and average costing. Round unit cost to 3 decimal places. That's going to become very important when you get to the average costing, the rounding, and we'll talk about that when we get to average costing. So we are going to compute the cost of ending inventory and the cost of goods sold using FIFO, all right? Now, the first thing you have to do is you have to get it into the format that I showed you. And the format that I showed you had the total number of units and it had the total unit cost, okay? Now, there's something wrong with this chart here. And what's wrong with this chart here is that they have actually plugged in the ending inventory number into the chart. So the ending inventory number is not part of the chart. The chart only includes the beginning inventory and the purchases. It does not include the ending inventory. So we actually have to delete that number out first. We have to take that 230 out first, okay? Now we are going to go through and we're going to add up the inventory and the 2 purchases to get the total units that were available for sale. The total of units that were available for sale at the period. So 120 plus 370 plus 200. We had a total of 690 units available for sale. We had 120 units at $5 each for $600. We had 370 units at $6 each for $22.20. And we had 200 units at $7 each for $1,400. So now we're going to add up the 600, the 2,200, and the 1,400. So what this is telling us is that the total number of units that were available for sale, 690, cost $42.20. So the cost of goods available for sale was $42.20. Okay, so now we know the cost of goods available for sale. Now we want to figure out the ending inventory cost. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our instructions. Okay, number 1, what is our type? Our type is FIFO. We're doing FIFO. What do we want to know? Cost of goods sold or ending inventory or both? If both, you solve for the problem first and then you do the other ones. Okay. You need to know how many units of each sold and ending inventory to figure it out. Okay, so they're asking for both ending inventory and cost of goods sold. They asked for ending inventory first. So that means we need to solve for ending inventory first. So what's our direction? Ending inventory is at the bottom on the FIFO side. So we're going to go from the bottom up until we get to the number of units sold. So we need to know how many units were sold. Okay. Sorry, we're not doing sold, we're doing ending inventory. We're going to go from the bottom up until we get to the number of units in ending inventory to figure out the cost. Okay. So how many units were in ending inventory? Well, they actually have it listed on that page. On the date of June 30th, it said inventory 230. That was their ending inventory number. So we know that the ending inventory was 230 units. So that means we're going to go from the bottom up until we get to 230 units to get the cost of ending inventory. Okay. So let's go down a little bit on the page here. All right. We're going to go from the bottom up until we get to the cost of ending inventory. Right. And this is what they call the proof. Okay. So bottom up until we get to the cost of ending inventory. We're trying to get to 230 units. So we're going to take 200 units at $7 each from this June 30th, okay? June 23rd. June 23rd, there was 200 units at a cost of $7 each for a total of $1,400, okay? So now we have 200 units. How many more units do we need to get to 230? We need 30 more units. So we're going to go to the line above, and we're going to see the line above has a total of 370 units, but we only need 30 of them. So we're going to go below. We're going to go June 12th. We're taking 30 of those units at 30 of those units at $6 each. So 6 times 30 is what? 180. Okay. So now we have a total number of 230 units, right? 230 units is our total number of units, and that's how many we wanted to get to. And the cost of those 230 units was $1,580. Okay, so $1,580 is the cost of those units. Now, we know the cost of those units. In the problem you get in Wiley, in your homework and on your exam, what you're going to see is they don't want to see the proof. Okay, this is called the proof. What I just did is called the proof. They don't want to see the proof. They just want the answer. So you're going to see something like this. You're going to see, it's either going to say cost of goods sold or it's going to say COGS. And then there's going to be a box there. And they're going to want to know what the cost of goods sold. And so they might have it like this. It might be FIFO, and they might have LIFO, and then they might have ending inventory. I'm kind of showing you how it might look, right, on your exam. Might look like this, and on your homework. So it might look something like this, okay? So you'll have something like that. And all they want are the answers. So what did we just figured out? We figured out that the cost of ending inventory using FIFO is $1,580. So we would come over here, we would go FIFO, ending inventory is $1,580. That's all you'd be putting in your homework. Okay? I don't know why. Why would you there? All right, so that was for ending inventory. Now, if we want to find out the cost of goods sold really quickly, all we have to do is take the total that was available for sale. We had 4,220 available, right? Total available was $4,220. Okay, total cost of all goods available, right, from up here. And if we know that the ending inventory cost was $1,580, right? And we subtract $1,580 from $4,220, we're going to see that the cost of goods sold is $2,640, okay? Because the total available is made up of what you sold and what you have left in the end, right? But now we want to prove that because we never want to make sure that our math we want to make sure that our math is done correctly, okay? We want to prove that, okay? So in order to prove it, we're going to prove the cost of goods sold is really $2,640. So we're going to do the proof, okay? So we come back over here to the instructions. What's our type? FIFO. What do we want to know? Cost of goods sold. What's our direction? Top down until we get to the number of units that were sold, okay? So how many units were sold? Well, they don't tell us, but we can figure it out super fast. We started with 690, right? We started with 690 cars on the lot. We ended with 230 cars on the lot, right? So that means that we sold 460 cars. We sold 460. Okay, because we started with 690 cars. We ended, our ending inventory count was 230. That means we sold 460 cars. Now we want to figure out, do those 460 cars really cost $2,640 that we sold, the cost of what we sold? So we're going to follow. Cost of goods sold for FIFO is the top down. So we're going to go from the top down until we get to the number sold, which was 460. Top down until we get to 460. Okay. So let me move this up a little bit because it's down a little bit far. You want to be able to see that blue part there. Okay. All right. So top down until we get to 460. Top down, FIFO. All right. So we've got 120 units at $5 each from June 1st. Okay. June 1, we've got 120 units at $5 each for a total of $600. Okay, so that's 120 units. So how many more do we need to get to 460? So we need 340 more units to get to 460, right? We want 460, we got 120, we need 340 more units. If we go to the next line down, we're going to see there's 370 units, but we only need 340 of those. We only need 340. So the June 12th purchase, we're going to take 340 of those units times $6 each. So we've got 340 times $6 each gives us $2,040. Okay. So now we've got the total number of units that we sold, 460. So now we can total up the total cost. 600 plus 2,040 gives us 2,640. So we have now just proved, we've proved that our cost is actually 2,640 is our cost, right? That was our cost of goods sold, we figured. And 2,640, we just proved that 2,640 is correct. So we would come up here to the top in the box, and we would put, for the cost of goods sold, under FIFO, we would put 2,640, and that's the cost of goods sold under FIFO.